Well, photographs of your kids landing up in the hands of the wrong people is something no parent wants. So what can be done if the pictures of minors have been publicized on the internet without parental consent? And are there legal remedies for parents and guardians who want to protect the privacy of their children? Well, to answer these questions, standing by is Sarah Hoffman. She's the co-founder of the cyber safety app Klicked. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us. It's something that's been bothering me for a long time. I wish actually I hadn't put pictures of my kids up on Facebook and Instagram. Apart from getting them off, what else can one actually do if you do have concerns that they're being inappropriately used?
Lovely to be with you, Annika, and thanks for having me. So it's really a well-timed question because recently, following the big scrutiny of all our big tech companies in the US Senate, Google came out with a new mechanism in terms of which you can apply to have images of minors removed from any Google search results. So that is one helpful step that a parent can take. So you can actually, there's a form you can fill out, and I'm happy to make these details available that you can actually populate and say that you don't want this image to come up in any Google image searches at all. So the only issue with that is that it's going to remove it from the search results, but it's not necessarily going to remove it from the original website or social media platform that that image was housed on. So that's step one. Step two is if you know the person who posted the photo and it wasn't you, I would almost default to, as a first step, common sense approach and literally just ask that person, because you are within your right as the guardian or parent of that child whose photo was posted without consent, to actually say, please remove it.
I mean, it seems good manners to me that if you are going to post a photograph of someone else's child, you would ask them beforehand. Am I right that that's just sort of plain good housekeeping?
Absolutely. And I think more and more as we have this type of conversation, I'd like to believe people are a little bit more respectful, and especially in the wake of Poppy and everyone being more alive to what is actually private information. Because I think, we have to remember social media just happened to us, and we just sort of got immersed in this culture overnight of oversharing and sharing everything we do and everything we say, including everyone else's children, without really stopping to pause and think about the ramifications of that and things like creating a digital footprint and so on. And, I think going forward, we really do need to have conversations with our children and with our children's parents about what we are comfortable with sharing, what is, what does require that question or that permission beforehand. If the first request, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't work, then we do need to think about how do we take that forward. And there are mechanisms within our law to get that content removed. There are also mechanisms on the platforms themselves to get the content removed. But I would really always default to the common sense approach, which is asking somebody, because you are within your right. And we do have case law, in fact, in South Africa that says if somebody posts something on social media that you don't want them posting, you are within your right to ask them to take it down.
How can you get photographs that you want off the net completely removed?
That's a $1 million question, Annika, because, unfortunately, once something is in the digital ether, it is out there, and it's virtually impossible to completely and utterly contain it. But there are practical ways that you can put your best efforts into containing the content. So firstly, you could, if you know that it's on a specific website, a lot of websites do have, and certainly if it's been used for commercial purposes, websites do have, and often in their privacy policy, takedown request procedures, certainly now lining up with Poppy, that you can make use of. You can also make use of tools like a Google reverse image search or websites such as TinEye, which will actually, if you copy and paste the image into these search engines, it will bring you up a list of where else this image is featured. So it might have landed up in places that you have no idea it landed up in. And you can then individually approach those websites. There are companies, of course, that specialize in erasing a digital footprint as much as possible. And, this obviously comes at a premium.
Thank you so much, Sarah Hoffman. I think the default position for me will be no more pictures of my kids online. You are the founder of the cyber safety app Klicked. Thank you so much for your time this morning.